Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to the anime review. Today we look at episode 5 of Sengoku Night Blood. Now, I will say this was probably the best episode of the show so far. We had action, we had drama, a little bit of mixture of both. It was awesome. It really was. I think that this show so far I've had kind of mixed feelings with it. It's not like I've disliked it, mind you, but I have disliked some of the elements to it where, at times it's clearly reverse harem, but at times it actually does have an interesting story. So I'm at like this kind of on the fence right now with this episode. Though honestly, it kind of pushed me to liking the show a lot more because I think that this was a solid episode overall. Now, I hope you guys don't mind if you see me going to the left of my screen, like looking at the left over here. It's only because I have the Mal page for Sengoku Night Blood open for the characters, because there's a lot of characters in this episode, a lot of the side characters that really haven't been talked about a lot, and I forgot their names. Basically, I completely forgot their names. So it's like I don't want to, have a review where it's like I mentioned the main characters obviously, but then I'm mentioning, oh, this guy got into a fight with this guy and this guy protected Yuzuki, except that'd be kind of a cheap review to me. So it's like I do want to have the character names up for this reason. So hopefully you guys don't mind. But anyways, so it was very interesting where we had Hideyoshi being the kind of center stage of the episode with, Yuzuki asking, why are you in a fight with Nobunaga in the first place? Now, we've seen Hideyoshi so far be this really calm, collected character. We've seen him be goofy, we've seen him be funny, but something triggered within this dude in this episode. And we see it not just here in the beginning, but we see it multiple times in the episode where, it seems like Nobunaga really does have a trigger with him where as soon as he even sees him, he goes right after him and he flips out. So that's an interesting, trait to him. So I think it was even more interesting when Yuzuki asked, and he's like, "You don't need to know. We just need to know unification is what we're trying to seek." And I'm like, "Oh, so far you've been the kindest to Yuzuki, and then all of a sudden you're like doing a 360 on her, and you kind of got a little harsh there. It was a little weird, but I think she was even taken aback by it. Now, besides the audience being taken aback by it, she was like a little surprised." So skipping ahead, we actually get into the meat and potatoes of the episode when the war kind of breaks out between them and they attack each other's factions. But the thing is that, right away, here we go, Hideyoshi goes flying after Nobunaga. I think it's several characters, like Toshi tries to stop at one point and is not really able to, so he just has the other guy follow him, which, yeah, see, that's the problem with this. Right away, I'm going to have to say some people, and I'm going to have to say, the other guys with some of them, because I can't look at all the characters every 2 seconds, unfortunately. I was hoping I could, but, you guys understand what it is, so it's okay. I feel like you guys will forgive me for this. But don't worry, as I said, I know the main characters who actually are kind of relevant in this episode. So, what was interesting, though, was Hanabi was the kind of protector of Yuzuki this week, and his confession to her was kind of funny. Like, he's like, "Oh, I love you. I was trying to take you away from everything. I don't want you to be part of this battlefield, etc." And I'm like, "Dang, dude, he put Hanabi really is like the most feminine character of this whole show, to be honest with you." And I have a feeling I know what his character is going off of in the story, because I think that in real life historical context, I think Hanabi, or at least the person he's trying to be, was a very feminine character. But even though it was a dude, it was like someone that dressed up like one. It wasn't really a female. I could be wrong about that, and I could be thinking about someone else, and I do apologize if I am wrong. Feel free to comment down below about that, because I've been corrected with some of my history. It's like I don't know everything about Japanese history. I know some stuff, but I always do make occasional mistakes here and there. But essentially, he saved Hanabi's life by jumping off a little small, I think, cascade of sorts, and they were able to kind of get away from everything. The problem is that then they were attacked by Yakuma, which is like, what the heck? And that was surprising. That was a surprising element to this whole episode, because you have a war between basically Hideyoshi and Oda, but you don't actually see anything that was Yakuma related till the very end. And when they kind of came out of nowhere, I was like, oh, that was a little surprising to me, to be honest with you. But I did like it because it kind of added this unknown element to it. And, Hanabi returned back to Hideyoshi, but he was without Yuzuki, which was interesting enough. Now, we see that Inari, I think his name is Nari, and I'm surprised I remember that off the top of my head. Inari actually was able to find Yuzuki inside like a kind of bush of some sort. But then we see an unknown presence show up at the end, and that's kind of how the cliffhanger ends of the whole week. So it was, in one way, that's probably my only big issue with the episode, is kind of ends with this cliffhanger moment, and even the fight ends just abruptly. Like, that's it. The Yakuma invade, and then everyone stops fighting. So it's like that's their common goal right now, common enemy, I should say, is to defeat these Yakuma, it seems like. So that was an interesting kind of caveat to the episode. I will say I was very pissed off with one fight in this whole episode, and I think many of you will agree with me on this. It was between Shingen and I believe Kenshin, who were fighting in the field, and I swear the cheapest animation came from that fight alone. Like, all they were doing at one point was like swinging their sword back and forth in the same motion 3 or 4 times. I'm like, ooh, that's a little cheap there. I get that, you can't always pump out the nice visuals we've been seeing, but that, that does take away from you enjoying an episode when you see a fight essentially boil down to the same movement over and over again 3 times. It's okay once or twice during a dialogue sequence, but come on, man, like, don't do that. It's right in the open too, that you just see them smashing each other's swords over and over again, and it's not even good. It's just, that was very disappointing. But other than that, it was, it is what it is. Anyways, though, I thought this episode was awesome nonetheless. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below. Tell me, what do you think about this week's episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Etc. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a great, brilliant day, everyone. Happy Halloween if you celebrate, obviously. I have Junie Tyson. I have maybe Fate Apocrypha. I can see if I can get that to be actually reviewed. And I have Food Wars also. So I have 3 other reviews for you guys to enjoy later today. If I don't see you for those next ones, though, I'll talk to you later. God bless you all. Bye-bye.